Hello and welcome to the T3 Handicapping YouTube channel. I am Chris from T3 Handicapping, and I'm here to bring you the Pick 5, the Bet Share Pick 5 that we're planning to play today at Indiana Grand. Today is April the 26th, so it's Tuesday. We will have another Bet Share on Wednesday as well. So let's go ahead and get into the action from Horseshoe, Indianapolis on Tuesday. First of all, if you're new to the page, please make sure that you like and subscribe so that you get access to all this content. We will be releasing a lot more stuff now as we're getting closer here to Kentucky Derby time. So you definitely want to make sure that you're following for that. We've got lots of content related to Indiana. Canterbury will be starting up again in May, which is my home track. So I'll be doing a lot with that as well. So lots of content will be coming. You want to make sure that you don't miss any of it. Go ahead and like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can always purchase our products, see lots of additional information as well on our website, t3handicapping.weebly.com. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, T3 Handicapping Horse Racing. You can go ahead and like and follow that page. That's where we'll post all of these bet shares that I'm going over today. They will get posted in there daily during the Indiana meet. So make sure that you hop in there and like and follow in that page so that you get all of our information. I will also post if we're not selling products on that day. That's usually big race days that we sell our product. But if you just want to get our free top 3 picks, you can always get them there in that Facebook. And then on Twitter at HandicappingT3, you'll get a lot more like real-time kind of updates there, so you can give us a follow on Twitter as well. So lots of different ways for you to get involved with T3 Handicapping. But today, our main objective is to look at this Tuesday card from Horseshoe, Indianapolis. So let's go ahead and let's dig in and see what we have going on today. So this is an extremely difficult card, and I kind of went back and forth in terms of exactly what we want to do in this spot and how we want to play this. The back end of this card is laden with maiden races, a lot of real big challenges. Frankly, my metrics are showing a lot of upsets. But with a lot of maidens and a lot of maiden claiming, the T3 system doesn't always work because it's relying on data that exists, and a lot of these maidens don't have data, or they can have deceiving data in the case of some of these maidens that have run 20 times. So it looks like they have the best speed figures, but that speed figure might have been in their second start, and they've run 18 times since then. Another challenge is that we saw last Tuesday a really sort of unpredictable, sporadic kind of day. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, it's opening day. You've got a lot of horses coming off of long layoffs, especially at a circuit like Horseshoe Indianapolis. And so with that, you're likely to see more chaos ensue. But another reason for that, I believe, is that they got a snowstorm just a day before. The track was covered in snow. There was moisture that was being held in. And so we saw horses on the very front end tire a little bit. And as the day progressed, we started to see a little bit more of that usual speed favoring track. Now, horses weren't coming from way out of it. They were sitting and pouncing. But nevertheless, we did have horses coming from a little bit further out than we might have expected, or some unpredictable results. They did get a little bit of moisture in Indiana over the last couple of days again as well. And so I don't think just getting to the front is going to be as lethal as it sometimes can be at the track, particularly when you're dealing with this lower class of horse that we're going to be mostly dealing with today. Now, I'm recording this at 8:25 Central in the morning, so this is not a bet share that's available yet because we need to see scratches and make adjustments. The big question mark here is going to be in race 7. It's the one race where I felt like my numbers showed that the favorite was a good favorite. That was confirmed by some of Brisnet and Twinspire's data in terms of how likely favorites are to win this race. So everything right now is going through the number 8 in race number 7. if that horse is to scratch out, this ticket's going to get totally blown up and things are going to need to change dramatically. For the time being, we have this race or this ticket as costing $90. That's only $4.50 per share for you to get involved. And again, if we do hit a winner on this one, Twin Spires will automatically deliver to you your percentage of the profits. So kind of the advantage to that bet share system that we use there. So I'm just going to quickly go through sort of how I arrived at these different horses and just kind of talk a little bit about who each of them is and why they're in here. So I got to get back on my past performances here. Just get me back to race number 4. So race number 4 here, as we're looking at things, they're not going to start us off easy. This is a maiden claimer, a low-level maiden claimer. I don't particularly love the favorite, but I do think that the favorite has a chance of being lone speed. To the fact that there's a legitimate chance, I think, that there will be no one with this horse. So I just couldn't get around having Goodbye Greeley, even though I'm not a huge fan. It seems like in a race where we have a lot of, seemingly career maiden types, that one's going to be closest to the front and may lose the least, I guess, is kind of the way I look at these types of maiden races. I don't know that we're going to say this horse won the race. I think we're going to say pretty much nobody else wanted to win, and this horse just so happened to be first when they happened to get to the line. Outside of that, though, I did have some interest in the 4. That's She's Ran Up the Amex. This is one that is still a little bit undefined, only has one career start. If we project forward, to ask a 10-point jump is probably a pretty big step up, but at the same time, you can see ridiculous jumps off of that first start. So I definitely wanted to have that one in there. The 6, the 8, and the 9 as well. Verdandi is the 6 horse, should be relatively close to the pace, has a little bit better finish than the favorite, and at 8-1 is well worth our money there. What's so funny, I think will be a little closer than it has been in previous races. I don't think this one's going to be on the lead, but if we are seeing that moisture, this one has a decent kick home. I don't want to say a great kick home. The best kick home for sure comes from the 1, I believe, which I did not use. But and the 1 does have the freshness factor as well. So that's probably of the ones that I left off my ticket, the one that scares me the most. But in a race where I don't really trust anybody, I'm looking for value. So I'll take early speed. And then after that, I want to look for value. The problem I have with the 1 is the middle part of the race gets real slow, and I'm afraid that one could drop out of contention there. So I'm going to go with the 3, which is the favorite, the 4, which is the second-time starter, the 6, as I mentioned, who should be relatively close to the lead, the 8, What's So Funny, who's at 10-1, but could be a little bit closer, and I think could potentially kind of make a run at things. And then the last one is 9, which is this horse, Waris, who is 25 days off, and again, should be another one that's sort of in the right spot early. I did take a stand also against Booze Gal. Booze Gal's coming off of a layoff of over a year. So I think there's maybe a little iota of talent against this field, but I just didn't feel like coming off that big of a layoff, that's the kind of one that I want to take a shot with. So that's kind of where we're starting our pick 5. We've got a lot of coverage there, and hopefully we can survive in advance. Then we're going to move on to race number 5. I do think the 1, Mai Tai's Gem, is probably going to be pretty tough in this race. So that's why I put that one in there. I don't think you want to get beat by this horse. This is one that shows some of the best early foot, has reasonable closing kick. The concern is it's been almost a year since the last race, but nevertheless, this one should be in a position, potentially may even be on the lead if it finds some of those pace figures from recent starts. Now, that being said, when we look at some of the speed figures going back, the last one showed a decline in form, which is a little concerning to me, and part of the reason why I didn't want to just use this one exclusively on top, because I'm concerned that that horse went off form. That's why the horse was off for a year. So that gives me a little bit of pause, and that's where I start to invite in some other ones. Successfully Done is a horse that really interested me in this spot. Has a nice steady progression moving forward. Is 10-1. Should be forwardly placed, and so I think that one's definitely of interest to me. The number 5, Rich Kingdom, shows that it will be sitting off, but with a lot of the speed in this race really unconfirmed, sort of has shown some and has not shown some. I think Rich Kingdom, coming off of a nice freshening, has the ability to run really good late pace numbers, numbers that really run a lot of these off the screen. And if you go to like best overall early figures, there are some that make this one not that far back. The speed figures stack up well against this group. I don't typically like closers, but again, without really knowing if you're going to be able to sit back and make a run, I think that one's one you don't want to get beat by. At 4-1, you can certainly take that chance. Akamai is the other one. Again, we're looking at a forwardly placed type here, and I think should be in a good position to get the job done. Sort of my big stand against on this ticket is going against the well, I guess, sorry, I thought there was one that was 3-1. It's 30-1. That makes a lot more sense to me. Not sure why I had that wrong. I think still a little light on the coffee this morning. So 1, 4, 5, and 6, I think there I should have it covered. We're obviously hoping no one in that situation. Let's juice up these first two legs and then root home some shorter prices going forward. Race 6, another one where I felt like I could have gone super deep, and I did use some prices here. So I used the number 2, which is My Girl Justice. At that one's at 20-1 on the morning line. We'll see. That one's dropping out of a maiden special weight company, and has shown some decent gate pop. This is the one where the 3 I don't like. That's a favorite, which is 3-1. That's the number 3. The 4 is a first-time starter. I don't really believe that there's a ton of talent in this race, so I'm willing to take a shot with that one. And that is also the case with Window Shaker, who's the number 6. I'm going to show some value here. Anna's Tribute to the outside is the one that's probably the biggest concern. But I look at the speed figures, and I use Brisnet, so when I'm looking at speed figures in the last 3, I'm seeing 56, 52, 47, so it's a downward trend. I don't see anything in the workout pattern like to really indicate that this one's about ready to fire. There was a 3 furlong that was decent back on April 16th, but we don't have any other published works since September. It's a big layoff. I don't want a horse coming in just off of one work. On debut, this horse ran a 41, and then kind of bounced after that, going longer, and then progressed forward. I don't know if the first time start is indicative of how this one's going to perform off a layoff. We just don't have a lot to go off of here, and so I just had a lot of trepidation. Now I know that the 2 worst performances came on some off going, but if I believe there's going to be some moisture in the track, maybe we won't have a muddy sealed surface here, but maybe there will be a little bit of moisture in there that prevents this one from running the best race. So that's kind of where I took a stand against that horse. I do get a little bit concerned maybe about the number 1 at 10-1, but I definitely think in this one you want to be looking for prices, because I just don't think Anna's Tribute and Prime and Proper are likely winners. Certainly not 2-1 and 3-1 types. So I looked for other places, looked for value. So this is a bit of a stab play, and that's why I'm playing it for $90, because I've taken some pretty significant stands here where there's a good chance I'm going to be wrong in some of these situations, and I understand that. I recognize that, and so I'm going to play thinner, and if we are just dialed in on a day that I think is going to be complicated and chaotic, I think I could have made this ticket $400 and had just as good a chance of losing as I do here. So I would rather take a stab at some real prices. If this one hits, I mean, your bank account, your Twin Spires account is going to be well supplemented for a while. So, um, a lot of how I choose to play each pick five or pick four, or really any sequence for that matter, a lot of it has to do with my level of confidence. And the more confident I am, the more I'm going to play it for, because I want to make sure I'm really zeroed in on my opinions. This one, I don't really have a ton of strong opinions. The one strong opinion I do have is coming up at the 5.5 furlongs. It's an optional claimer for 30,000s, and it's in race number 7, where I really like the number 8 horse at 9-5, which is Fight On. Now, the one concern I do have about Fight On is Fight On is not an early type necessarily. But I think against this group, it could be. You know, you look at where this one's been running, Santa Anita and Del Mar. There's some wicked fast California horses. So a lot of times we'll see these horses come over that are more of a mid-pack designation in California, and they come east or to the Midwest, and I guess in this case mid-Atlantic, and they all of a sudden look like unbelievable pace setters. And that was a huge plus for me. I think what is 3 and 4 lengths in California is on the pace at most other circuits. That's not to say I think necessarily that the talent is better, but I think the speed is in fact different. So that's why I went with Fight On. It's the favorite. I want to use that one. Vivid Verse is interesting. The thing for me with Vivid Verse is I just don't like Vivid Verse as much as I like Fight On. I have that one rated out as a minus value play, and so that's why I chose to keep that one off the ticket. I would say, as I look past the number 8, if I were going to play some other tickets, maybe a saver pick 3, looking to gain some other plays. I like the 4 and the 5 in this spot. Lost in Limbo at 15-1, coming off 17 days rest. Going to be involved early and actually has a decent late kick. I like that one a lot. And then the other one I like is the best late runner in this field, which is Jova, who is the number 5 at 10-1. Both of them have been running against weaker, so that is a little bit of a concern. But at the same time, I think those two are interesting when I don't trust anybody really outside of the favorite. So I'm going to be singled here, but I wouldn't be surprised if I have pick 3s that are using 8-4-5 with some tighter selections in some of the other legs surrounding. And then heading to the last leg, how we're going to get out of this, I've got basically a group of unprovens, and that's pretty true across the board. And so I went with 3 first-time starters. I went with the number 10, which is Indy Lights. I went with the 3 Signature Street, and I went with the 1 Lady Starlight. Again, normally I like experience here, but you have to have experience that I like, and I'm just not sure that we get that. I know Tap Into the Beat, the number 5 horse coming off 160-day layoff, will show that early speed, could be up there. I'm just not sure all of these horses coming off layoffs of long extended layoffs. I'm not sure they have that much of an edge over first-time starters. So I just don't think there's a lot of value there. So today, admittedly, big stab. I think there's a little bit more clarity on tomorrow's card, so hopefully we can hone in on some more confident selections. But the way I look at this, for $4.50, you have a chance to get paid in a big way. I mean, if this ticket hits, we're going to be talking multiple thousands, unless there's some significant movement on the tote board. We're going to be talking about multiple thousands of dollars, and even divided across the 20 shares that will be in today's bet share, you should still cash quite considerably. And so this is a risk-reward situation for me. This is not I feel like we're going to crush this pick 5. This is man, if our dart lands, this is going to be well worth the chance we took. And we have some rationale to back it up, but it's a day where chaos is going to, I think, be the name of the game. So I would make sure that you're supplementing your bet share with wins on some longer prices that you like, some exacta key boxes, putting some of those long shots over and under other horses that you may have an interest in, and find ways to supplement your $4.50 investment in a day that looks like while it may be tough to hit a winner, it looks like one winner could get you to the finish line ahead on a day like today. So, with that being said, once scratches come out, I will post this link. I will post it in our Facebook group first. We'll give those people kind of a first crack at it. So if you want to make sure that you get first access to this ticket, make sure you like us and follow us on Facebook, T3 Handicapping Horse Racing. After that, I will post it to our Twitter account at Handicapping T3 as well, so you can get it there. But again, this won't come out until we get those scratches in. This is the late pick 5, so you do have a couple races to get into it, but I will warn you, the shares do go fast. So if you want to get involved, make sure you do so early. Again, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel here. And as we always say at T3 Handicapping, cash those tickets.